Hey everybody, it's another Zoom episode of Carnival of Randomness with our Zoom master Patrick.
Hello.
And we have our second banana drummer Greg is out there and he looks better than ever.
Here I am.
Right
Sitting on
now
my
our
big
guest,
stool.
I think our guest was abducted by a UFO. If he shows up, we will have him in and present him. Otherwise, there's always stuff for us to talk about at the carnival. And we were going on about very questionable sequel in Wonder Woman 1984.
Yeah.
And
I don't know how much we've delved into it before. I know obviously this is a little bit past Christmas when it came out, but
The story is a big mashup of different elements, and that we were touching on that a little bit. Like I was saying, it was like a Cinderella Arabian Nights tale, and with a lot of strange stuff in there.
yeah, was it almost like they didn't know? Like, I thought one problem I had with Green Hornet, believe it or not, I thought it could have been a good movie if they got the tone right. They didn't know if they wanted to make it a comedy, serious.
Right.
And does this have the same type of thing?
Well, yeah, because it gets very serious. I mean, I gotta give her credit though, when she has to leave, when Steve has to leave at the end, and she's all broken up, and I mean, that really tears at you. I mean, she did a great job of being, just human.
yeah, I didn't have any issues at all with any of the performances in the movie. I thought they had good actors doing good work. It's just I thought that the story was it had problems with the tone, especially compared to the first Wonder Woman. The first Wonder
Right.
Woman, felt real, more real than the kind of wacky, slightly cartoony, world you got in Wonder Woman 1984.
Right. It was, yeah, very much so.
Yeah, which is, if that was the understanding going in, if that's what we were used to, then it would have felt less weird with all the real.
I just kind of think that they sort of forced the issue with the cheetah character there, whatever her name was, I forgot. But I mean, like, really, you're going to work at a place and nobody's going to talk to you? I mean, there was just so much stuff.
And by the way, the UFO has landed.
Yeah.
We're going to let in someone's here.
Del Rivers, this is
At the Zoom door.
Del Rivers. And here's a picture of Del Rivers.
I see it.
Greg, we can't see you. Your video is there. We go.
Hey.
Your video hasn't been on the whole time, Greg.
It hasn't?
No, that's why we kept saying how good you look.
Oh, is there some way to do it?
Just go.
Leave it off. You look better.
No, just go there. If you go to the bottom left hand of your screen there on Zoom, you'll see a thing that'll say.
Oh, start video?
Yeah.
Oh.
We're a little Zoom clinic today here.
Oh, I didn't never. Oh, hi.
I did it.
Okay.
Wow, I can't believe it.
There we go.
Del, take a look. We have Del Rivers, who's come down into the studio, sort of by computer, by the internet.
Sort of.
But show him that.
I've been swearing at the computer for the last 10 minutes. I just
Remember this? Remember this?
Drives me nuts.
Remember
I
this,
come over
Mr.
to
Del?
his house. I don't bother.
There you
Yeah, that's
go.
my last CD.
Then I can act sanctimonious, like, aha, you didn't do it. Hold it up, Greg. You can't see it because you're doing the same thing.
Kind of got the top half.
Higher.
Yeah,
Higher.
bright
There you go.
colors.
Okay. I don't
That's
do
the
this
one.
much.
That's the one that we both worked on.
Yeah, the recording from the Bop Shop. Yeah.
Yep. I hope you liked it.
And there's the band.
Yeah. What? Did you see me with my Hitler mustache?
Yeah.
Because I'm all gray, and then the black, like right in the middle, right where the Charlie Chaplin or Hitler dashes.
I think I call it the Charlie Chaplin mustache.
Yeah, there was a rumor. I don't believe it.
Like the
'cause I
guy
think
from the
it was,
Sparks.
that was the fashion, though. That was the
Yeah.
fashion of the day. There was a rumor Hitler did that because Chaplin was popular and he wanted to be popular. But I think it was just the rumor of the day.
Yeah, I don't know.
That would be. That's I wouldn't put it past them though. It's very possible.
Oh, I think so. But I was going to ask,
Yeah.
what was
Well,
that?
I mean-
what was that band, Greg Dell? Tell us about that band you played with at the Bop Shop. What was it? What kind of music?
Well, we got together with the guys from the Key Dreamers, who were like a surf style Florida type band. They did, anything from Florida, what's his name, Jimmy Buffett, that kind of style. But they did surf music too. They did instrumentals, and they're both 10 years older than me, and I said, what the heck, we'll get together and see what happens. And hooked up and went to Bob's shop for the record store day, and it turned out pretty good. There's some extra stuff on there too, like stuff we did in practice and things that weren't played at the Bob shop, but it turned out pretty good.
Patrick's gonna like this one. It's one I hear. She walks like a robot. That was a cool song.
Yep.
Maybe we should. Yeah,
I actually did a B-52 style version of that.
Yeah, Greg. Well, at the end we'll play that song.
Okay.
Yeah, if you could send me, if you have it on file, you can just send it to me.
I don't, because I only have the physical. I can rip it. I can rip it real quick.
That would be great. Yeah, don't do it right now though.
Yeah, I probably can just rip it in.
This is really just controlled. This one is really.
We have my permission.
But we have to.
Let's give Del like a proper introduction, because people might.
Yeah, well, Del's been my friend for decades. He's what can I say about him? He's
my real name, by the way. This is my real name, James Bullman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Del.
There's actually 3 of them in Rochester, and I changed it to Del Rivers for entertainment purposes.
Del Shannon and Johnny Rivers.
Exactly. You remember.
Del is all about. I can't even describe you. You do so much. You've done stand-up comedy, music,
acting,
lion taming, probably.
A lot of hobbies. I'm into UFOs.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask a question first. So I just thought of this. I do this show, and that's about it. And I still am a weird introvert social butterfly, but you find out when you start doing this, you loosen up. It's fun. But you're all 3 different performers now. Greg, music. I know, Del, you've done that. But I'm going to focus stand-up comedy, Patrick on stage. So I think in terms of stand-up, though, you're acting alone while you 2 have backup. So you can duck behind them if they throw crap at you. So what's the mindset you have when you go up to perform?
Well, let me back up just a little bit. I prefer to work with other people. And in fact, I did videos for a comedy show. I did the Del Rivers show with Mark Elliott. Do you know Mark Elliott, don't you?
Yeah.
I did a comedy show with him, which worked so. That just ended pretty much. It just wasn't going anywhere. And then Frontal Lobe and Dumplings was the comedy show I did for about 6 years. As a video group. Just writing skits and just, they would film it and edit it and stuff like that.
That's
in
cool.
fact, Susan Steckloff was involved with that. She's an actress.
Oh, that's cool. See, I knew you did comedy. I didn't know exactly what. I've heard of the dumpling.
Yeah. The comedy thing is kind of like just when I feel like it type of thing, because I prefer doing videos and acting. Hold on. I got to get this thing out of here. What the heck? Accept risk. Okay, accept risk. Get out of here.
We are really living this one.
We must all accept risk.
We're winging this one.
Accept these risks coming on this show, I'll tell you.
You got a nice.
No, this show is great. I mean, I just been backing up on a couple of videos. I just saw the one with Chaz Lockwood and
he's coming
Steve
back
Lyons.
He's coming back with Stan, actually. If you want to join that
Stan,
one.
the man should do the show.
He is. We got to do it a Saturday afternoon.
Okay.
But but one of the questions a friend of mine said, who's a comedian, and maybe we'll have him on sometime. He says a lot of it's the audience, because the audience wants to laugh. You got them. That they're looking to laugh. Otherwise, like if you're background and they're out, for dinner or something, you're not going to have as much entertaining time.
Yeah. Like the problem I have with stand-up comedy is it's hot and cold. Either you do it really well and the audience was with you, or you can really suck and the audience totally goes against you.
Switching chairs. Here we go. I think that will work.
That's okay. Is this at your house?
No, this is at our studio down in Antarctica that we do this. You want to see? Okay, I got to show you, Del. We have to do it every time. Show them your project.
Oh, what? Oh, which one?
Pick one.
Oh, I have here.
Something to do with comedy, or
it's fun for the audio listeners, but I have various Lego Star Wars projects here.
Oh, wow!
That I've completed.
Wow, that's great. How long did it take you to do one of those?
And, I am. I'm gonna put my headphones back on so I can hear you.
How long did it take you to do
those? The space ones?
Yeah.
Do you have the space shuttle or any of the space
I
Legos?
right now I've just been purely doing the Star Wars ones.
There's probably a lot of them.
Yeah, it's become a minor obsession. There is a all right. There's a cat in the room now.
Joined by Cat, ladies and gentlemen.
I just forgot to lock my room.
Mine's right here. Hi, buddy.
I recently got the big set that's out right now, the Mos Eisley Cantina set. It is It's literally
that's pretty cool. Oh, that's all the bar scene, right? In Star Wars, the bar scene.
It's the whole building. It opens up with a bar in the middle. There's 21 figures. You got, obviously Luke and Han and Chewie and Obi-Wan, and then you have the bartender and Buttface and his friend there who gets his arm chopped off. I'm using the canon terms, obviously.
Are you getting? Does they sell it separately, or is it all one?
Oh no, it's all one piece.
Thing?
It was a very impractical purchase, as the set retails for $350.
One of my friends.
Wow, you'll get it's like getting a box set or something.
Yeah.
You'll get a kick out of this still. One of my friends, my friend Ken, he got the Ian Hunter box set. It was limited 32 disc. It was like about $450.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's something I'd like to get if I can afford that.
Yeah, but I guess he just loved it.
I thought Ian Hunter didn't have a box set.
I guess, but you had to get it from his website. You got his tour. You got a book. You got 32 CDs. I think a bunch of unreleased stuff.
I have a vinyl thing. Shades of Ian Hunter or something like that, and it's just a big compilation of his stuff with the different bands. It's pretty good. It's like a 2 vinyl.
I read his biography.
You know what I do when I get these things, these box sets to come out, I prefer like the 3 CD set. That's about my range. It's like everything else. If I hear it, I hear it. I don't. That's the only way I can look at it.
And I look at sometimes some of the stuff was unreleased because it wasn't good.
Right. Yeah. Sometimes we get the unreleased stuff.
Yeah, it's true too. Like it wasn't made for radio, just made for fans. You can have Pink Floyd farting all day. They're not going to put on a record, but it'd be a great fan thing.
Yeah,
well, there's a couple. The craziest ones I've ever heard. There was "Fly on the Wall" for "Let It Be," where all they did was they recorded the background talking for 20 minutes. And there's another one. There's that one, but there's another one I found.
Light in the window.
Yeah, it's coming in.
Well, you know what? That reminds me. Just on a whim, I ordered that. There's that Superman the movie. There's a 3-hour version, and so I got it, and I watched it. And what they basically did was they just put everything that they filmed in there, like everything that was cut out.
Wow,
elongated scenes, and
it was motion picture with the original.
The original Christopher Reeve. Yeah, but the thing is, when you watch this stuff, there's a lot of the extra stuff with the Hackman character. But I mean, it's like, okay, there's a reason those things didn't make it because they were not that great. Like there's this huge thing when the earthquake or when the dam breaks, they have all these scenes of houses and buildings and people scrambling around. They cut a lot of that out of the theatrical because after a while it's like, okay, more people screaming and yelling and more buildings falling and it just wasn't all that
B-roll. You just shoot all this stuff and you editors put in what works and they never shoot this stuff intending to use it all.
No, I'll give you an example. Right. I just started reading. There's an oral history of Dazed and Confused, and originally, and Linklater fought a lot with the producers, and originally the movie was 2 hours and 45 minutes. And they had to cut it down.
I guess.
That would be interesting to see a full length like that.
Well, I guess like there was a thing with
spending a day in the theater,
Yeah, right.
Like go watch the Justice League cut for 4 hours.
Exactly.
But there's a thing I'll say about movies. How do you feel about that when, like, say, for example, Star Wars, Close Encounters, when you have the original movie, then they keep tinkering with it? Is it just, if you've done the movie, can you do it? Or is it sort of like...
Sometimes I like that, sometimes I don't. Just like Star Wars. Or,
Handshot Greedo.
Star Trek. They changed all the graphics in Star Trek. They actually made it better by changing those graphics.
Those are the only versions.
But other things that they could have left in, there might be like a
I actually watched Obsession. I own the set, and I watched Obsession, and that's the one where the big cloud monster vampire, and trying to get Spock's like the equivalent of eating Taco Bell. It can't get Spock, but when they blow up the planet with the antimatter bomb, you see at the end when it pulls away, there's a big hole in the planet. And it looks really, really good.
Well, and the thing they did that was really smart when they did those remastered episodes is they did their best to not mess with the aesthetic. Like, the aesthetic is exactly the same. It's just the effects are better.
That's true. They can't be 100%, but they can get close to it. Yeah, it's like going back in time and redoing it.
I really liked them. I bought a couple of them. They were really good. I mean,
because it doesn't take you out of the show.
Yeah, and they didn't change the dialogue or change the scene. They just spruced.
Yeah, that's the thing I worry about. If they change the dialogue, because of racism or because of something that's politically incorrect. That's when I get mad.
And it would be hard because Star Trek was all against all that stuff. Yeah, so how are you going to read it? Though every year, you know what I do on 4th of July? I put Omega Glory up, the E Plebnista, and I still wonder how in the heck, number one, it's touching to see a Canadian starship captain do the Pledge of Allegiance. How in the heck, but how in the heck do they know he's saying the right words when they don't understand the words?
Well,
he said the secret word.
It's the universal translator. That's what it is.
Oh, he's Doctor Who now.
It's the universal translator. That's the great. That's the thing. All your spacefaring shows have the universal translator.
Right.
So,
or the aliens. The aliens conveniently speak English.
No, that's the thing. Star Trek, and it's in the show. They have a universal translator, and it just everything they hear is in the language they understand.
Can you guys hold on for just a quick second?
Yeah, no problem.
I'll be right back.
Yeah.
I just got to get my box of books. I was in the other room, and I had to move everything again. So hang on a second.
We're not going to hang out. We're going to babble. Well, this is a very good ad-libbed one. So, Greg, how is it playing? How is it playing surf music on this stuff? A little different for you? Or?
It was a lot different. And he told us what we wanted, and I think a lot of these songs are different eras that he did. So, there's another one called Sour Milk Day, and then there's one called Mighty Mighty Sweet, which was a cool song. Soul Chaser was a cool song. I mean, I remember, I haven't listened to this in a while, but it was fun doing it. Yeah,
is it backwards on your end, or is it frontwards?
No, we see it. Yeah,
I see the bright colors.
We see it
because it's backwards to me when I see it.
And there's the back. Yeah.
The Adolf Hitler.
So
Dolph baby.
Well, now, Del, how did you? I forgot how you and I hooked up for this thing. Did you talk to me?
It's through Jerry Falzone.
Oh, okay.
What happened? I went to House of Guitars for Record Store Day the year before, and you were drumming for Jerry Falzone. And I said, "Oh yeah, it's the guy that does the TV commercials, blah blah blah." And I saw you with the Projectiles before that, so I knew you from the Projectiles and Jerry Falzone. Even before you were with Susie and Susie and the Banshees.
Yeah, right.
You were with them too, besides Susie and Anonymous.
I don't know if I can handle that.
I feel like Susie.
I like Susie. She's a doll. She's a real doll.
Yeah, in a lot of ways.
Really, really tamped down.
Yeah, I would say so. But
that's right. I remember that's how it happened. Yep.
We were passing by a House of Guitars, and I just said, "Hey, are you still playing Jerry and shit, whatever,
Yeah.
Well, he just looks like a drummer.
Fact, Jerry Falzone. Quick story: Jerry Falzone's cousin, my dad's best friend.
Oh wow!
And I didn't even know that.
Jerry's been on the show. He came on the show back when we used to have the Hall of Fame stuff before COVID hit.
Yeah.
That's the thing too. We always ask our guests, what was your reaction to the whole COVID thing? Were you a lot of people really actually like being injured? Thrilled.
In a way, it doesn't matter in my case because I had to go to the hospital a few times. I have had cellulitis. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
Oh, I have had that.
Foot problems with diabetes. I got diabetes number 2, and it's just been
What-
killing me.
What happened with the neuropathy thing? Are you still
Got
suffering
it.
from that? Still that?
Yeah, I'm still suffering.
I've
remember
been
that
saying
was
this
like-
about
I'm gonna end
guests. I've been saying this about guests before we go, dude, what'd you do last night? Oh, I got hammered. We were out till 4. Now it's like, dude, what meds are you on?
Yeah,
What are
right.
you doing?
Yeah, it's the prescription medications are worse than freaking like taking marijuana or something. It's
Oh, I'm
horrible.
on 2.
My doctor wanted me to put me on Prozac
Wow.
because I kept picking at my toes or something.
My vet wanted to put my dog on Prozac one time. But I know, like, it's the ones I'm on, I get, like, the lightheadedness from these sometimes. Like, it
Yeah.
just goes all...
It spaces you out. That's all it does, and then you become impotent, which makes it even worse, and it just fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Well, Rob was.
I have a
complaining
friend
about-
that was taking gabapentin for pain or something and made him
Yeah.
impotent. He threw the bottle of pills at the nurse because he was so pissed off over it.
I wouldn't think he wouldn't be pissed off if he was impotent.
You know.
Yeah, I had a Zoloft incident with that.
Oh, Zoloft, yeah, it's another one.
I had one. I won't
took,
go on.
the weirdest one that I've took for when they're doing drug trials on me to take different drugs, something called baclofen. The night after I took baclofen, I was seeing rats coming out of my ceiling.
Yikes.
That was weird.
I got stuck last night after taking my meds. I thought I had a dream I was in a taxi cab that kept getting bigger by the mall and I couldn't get out. And I stood up on my bed and I was under a cover.
Yeah, Rob was grousing about the 2 pills he has to take.
Oh, there's going to be more.
2.
But I won't mention his name. We all know him. You sort of know him. But one person I know, on these one pills, he would randomly shit himself.
Oh no!
And I guess he had a run. He was in Home Depot and he just had to really run to the bath. I haven't got to that point yet.
Really gotta weigh the pros.
I was in the hospital. That happened to me. They
One
put
of
me
my
on
friends,
something
he was
and I
on
just, like,
diabetes. He was on diabetes and high blood pressure, and they said one caused constipation, the other one caused diarrhea. So he was in perfect sync.
I mean,
yeah, mix them together. It helps. I can't. I just turned 60 recently. I thought turning 50 was bad. 60 was like, man, it's killing me.
Yeah, my doctor.
I still want to do band stuff though.
Well, that's the thing, Greg. How's it feel like being a little older doing it compared to the young kids? You can still swing and everything, right?
Well, yeah, it's just, you find yourself, oh, I don't have to bring a PA? Great.
Yeah.
They got
That's
drums?
what-
Great.
oh yeah. Well, there you go.
Well, did you ever
I mean-
think? Yeah, go on, Joe.
No, but just,
When I used to play with Mike Murray's bands, the Quatloos and the Fertility Wright brothers, I did like percussion and backup vocals. Mike Murray does not like to lift equipment. He kind of like
right.
let's do it. And he was only like in his 30s. So
Well, that's what
doesn't
you do.
matter.
It's like, do you ever think of like Greg, like doing an instrument and going, well, base it on what you can carry? Like, why don't you wear like a trombonist instead or something?
Oh, yeah, we always joke.
something light.
We always joke about it. I should have played flute, or ukulele or something.
Well, we
But,
got the one I'll give you because I love her. I got to mention her. Adriana has the gig last week, right?
Yeah.
So she's got it right being the lead singer. She comes in late, so the band has to haul her keyboards and guitar in.
Nice.
Then she shows up afterwards.
Yeah. Well, you know what though? I still like to get there early and all that because I figure, okay, once the drums are set up, that's the focal point and the center, and then everybody else comes in, and then it's not like, well, where do you want to go? It's kind of mapped out for you, and it's visually, and then plus, it's like you're not all trying to do it at once with cables and stepping on each other, and
that's true.
It's just easier,
Well,
I mean, you guys were a joy to work with when I worked with you and the Key Dreamer guys.
Yeah, it was fun.
I just wish at that point I had to go to the hospital. It threw me off, and COVID happened.
Right.
I wanted to get together to do a few live gigs, not just one, but it's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah.
I mean, right now I'm saying we're getting a glut. I mean, I'm just,
for sure.
I love all my friends, but I've got to pick and choose. I'm too old. I can't be doing
making up for lost time now. And
I can't be doing it like all. I'll come out when I can.
I think
I'm not going to do like. I'm not doing like 3 nights in a row either.
Next spring things will settle down.
Yeah, next spring we'll have variant number 7.
Rob, how's your brother is he still playing with New Math?
No, he's like sort of quiet and everything. I think he's played with a lot of bands, and I think it got to the point they did a last New Math song a couple of years ago. They did a remake of Love Under Will. And I know Roy is very active. He just came a new band with Kim Draheim. You know about that, Greg.
Yeah.
And it's called Jukebox. I guess Draheim wanted to call it the Orchids because I guess that was some band's name in the 60s early on or some other stuff. And they're playing old psychedelic. They're doing like cover versions of stuff.
I think he's playing with somebody else too. I just saw Don Mancuso. He's playing with, you're talking about Roy Steiner, right?
Yeah. That's a good lineup.
Roy's going to be on here sometime. Yeah, but Kim said he does like his one, like Heidi, our friend, she's in Infrared, but she's in Florida, so she only comes up here every few months. So now he's playing in two bands. Right. But those are the days of hanging out and seeing all these clubs. I was just talking to a friend about the Casablanca.
Oh yeah.
Because I remember the
Joan
Kings
Jett there.
The Joan Jett, Dave Edmonds played there. The Kings, I remember the most though.
Yeah, all the ones from Canada,
Chesterfield
or Chesterfield Kings.
Yeah. The ones with the
cigarettes.
cigarettes.
Kings, they were the Canadian group too.
Oh, that's a cool one.
Remember that band? They did Switching the Glide.
No, I don't. When did you first get into this stuff, Dal? Like, when did you first get onto the underground scene with all of us? What attracted you to
it started
big
with,
shows?
With Mike Murray and Mick Elber from Whole Lot of Shakin'. What they did is they got, bands used to let them know when they're playing out, or you'd interview them on the show. And then I would go out and I'd see like the Bowery Boys or the Prestones.
Right.
Just the ones early on, the Antoinettes. Those girls.
They lost their heads.
With Steve Jordan today. They were great. Antoinettes were my first girl group. Then I got into like It's My Part, stuff like that.
Yeah,
I love girl groups. I love them all.
Oh, they're really cool. I remember like a lot of the shows. I mean, I guess the Bug Jar is reopening. I just remember seeing the Muffs there, the Charms.
Yeah.
Show and Knife.
The Muffs.
I remember that. I remember the Charms. I went to go see John Mayall over at Milestones, and I ran over to see the Charms afterwards.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I would never do that now. It would be one and done.
Yeah, the Charms were on Mike Murray's show before he moved to the other station. But I didn't get to meet them, unfortunately.
No, I never met
They
him.
were
It's
good.
like, I wanted to bring him a box of that cereal with the leprechaun.
Right.
Oh, yeah. I think they broke up, but they might be. The one girl that was the lead girl in that group is still performing, but they're in a different
Massachusetts. Massachusetts, are they from?
Not sure.
I think it's
Yeah, maybe they're from like Boston or something. I don't know.
And that was
I
like
heard you talking about Boston. Remember Judd Williams?
Yeah.
He used to play with Swing Set.
Yep.
In bands in Rochester. He's still in Boston.
The worst part is I'm making a list of people to get on the show every time we mention somebody.
Trying to get Judd Williams. He'll definitely do
it seems you musicians, we put little cookie crumbs out. You come up to the studio.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if you ever can get down to the studio, I think you'd really
I'm
like
eating those cookie crumbs, man.
Every guest
I like those cookies.
Every guest will send you a coupon in the mail or something.
Yeah.
Don't just remember not to give us your address. But one thing I've been dying to talk about, because I really interested in this stuff, and we basically don't have many people who talk about it. UFOs. Now, how did you get into it? And
that's where I got my box here. This is. I'll show you where it started me.
Greg, are you a UFO guy? You're a drummer. Hell yeah.
I mean, I'm pretty sure there's stuff going on that nobody's talking about. But
they had a MUFON proceeding in Rochester in 2002.
What does that stand for again? Is it Mutual UFO Network? What's MUFON?
Exactly. They got somebody else running it today. It's supposed to be pretty good, I guess. They went through kind of a phase where people were thinking they were like, screwing around, but they're doing pretty good now. When I went to the Mutual UFO convention or the meetings, that's where I met Rich Dolan from Rochester. He's got like 5 books that are must-haves.
I've heard the name.
UFOs. Let's see. This is when they came out with The Day After Corso, the guy that was involved with the Roswell. They took apart the Roswell craft and made a lot of inventions from Roswell through Bell Laboratories. true story, really happened. And
it's always been a thought that they use these parts to do different, like. Well, Greg, if you ever got abducted, hopefully you get a good plant to play on.
Well,
you got to remember, what's her name? Helen Wheels.
Oh yeah,
musician.
Oh yeah,
her brother Peter Robbins. He's this guy right here.
Oh wow.
He's a major UFO guy in New York City, I guess, but he comes to Rochester every so often. And we had like a little meetup group with him, and we talked to him a lot. He's great.
Do you think
Helen Wheels' brother?
Here's an interesting question I have for you. It popped in my head. Like, take a show like The X-Files. Do you think this helps like the UFO idea, or it makes it look like it's fake? Because it's entertaining. You know what I mean?
Alien cat.
Yeah, that was my cat. My cat wanted to get in on.
We've got cats, we've got UFOs. What else do we have on this show? Yeah. But like the X-Files,
it's kind of a neutral thing. To answer you, it's kind of a neutral thing because Fox Mulder, or the guy that plays it, or what's the name?
David Duchovny.
David Duchovny, right? He's very not anti-UFO, but he's very passive about it. It's like, big deal. Like he doesn't care that much about it. But other people, it's like they're like a main part of the conversations of UFOs and stuff.
Well, I know
they base a lot of that stuff on real happenings.
Yeah.
Stuff that really happened.
Well, I know like Chris Carter addressed Psy-Cop, and he was saying, and Philip Glass and all of them are very skeptical, and he was saying, look, this is like it's entertainment as well. And I think some people, what scares me about TV and all this stuff sometimes is like, for example, you would hear after Forrest Gump, people would be calling Alabama trying to buy the yearbooks for the years he went there, and they don't separate fact from fiction.
They mix it up. Yeah, that's true.
It takes all kinds.
That's one thing that I know with children they can't tell the difference between fantasy and reality, but with adults they're supposed to know the difference.
Right.
Yeah.
This is a thing I don't know enough about psychology to prove this, but there's a book I read one time where it said the Greeks actually saw the gods because one of the things they couldn't distinguish between dreams and reality.
You're right.
Wow.
I don't know if the brains progressed that much since then, or I can't tell. I'm not on Facebook, so I'm not an expert at the moment.
Yeah, no, you're really
this thing that
on Facebook to consider yourself an expert.
Or did maybe you wonder like they drank wine, or like they might have had some hallucinogens not even known it at the time.
Well, yeah, there could be something to that effect, but they pretty much think the gods were like early people that lived on Earth, before. There's also a big thing with Graham Hancock. He's a big UFO writer, or archaeologist writer, and he says that there was a used to be the giants lived here on Earth. That elongated skulls, and they were giant.
Was it the Nephilim? Was it those were angels? I think.
Well,
that was part of it. They could be associated with that group too. Some of the angels. They didn't have wings, but they had big skulls like King Tut. He has that big hat. His skull is.
Yeah, I watched Batman.
Yeah.
I seen him on Batman.
That's right,
all
King
times.
Tut.
But the one thing
I love that.
I love, there's one meme I really like. I was talking about mushrooms where it says, imagine like the first people who tried mushrooms. First person said, wow, this tastes like beef. The other one saw pretty rainbow colors. The other one dropped dead.
Let me ask you this, Del. There's lots of different like UFO camps, or at least schools of thought and different belief, and they aren't mutually exclusive of each other, but like Chariots of the Gods, that's kind of like the Ancient Aliens thing, that whole
Van Doniken
idea of is that something that you are
my dad took me to see that movie when I was like 13 years old.
Yeah,
he brought me to the theater to see that, and that's that was like really eye-opening. Plus I read about a lot of this stuff. Like they have a pole in India that's made of iron, doesn't have a spot of rust on it. How did they manufacture that? It's just baffling. How
have you ever seen that Stonehenge type stuff in France, out in the middle of a field? There's giant rock
standing
things.
stones.
Yep. And Jim Villa takes a lot of pictures of those because
Hey Jim, come on, finally, and tell us, will you?
Oh yeah,
but it's very, it's like, how did they get there? Number one, who put them there? How'd they get them there? I mean, these things aren't just like boulders.
They're fucking heavy.
You know,
they're huge.
The parts of it are like, how did how did they get them out of the ground, and how did they move them? And they can, there's been a lot of,
Well, one thing that I noticed too is like the pyramids used to have a coating on it, like a white I don't know, coating or something.
Oh yeah.
And also inside the pyramid there was they think there was metal hanging metal things or something like that, because it was like a machine that created electricity. It was, instead of a nuclear power plant, it was like a pyramid power plant. They have a bunch of these things on Mars too.
Well, the thing that gets me too is like, this is a cultural question. Is you look, okay, you say pyramids, you look at the phenomena around the world. We have them in South America. We have them in obviously Egypt. You have them all over the place, and it's amazing. It's like that sort of like united consciousness.
You're going back into like ancient,
they're all
like the ziggurats and and stuff like these
right ziggurats.
Yeah,
they were a lot of them are in the ley lines of natural forces that are around the earth. That's where they build them there. They're all equal to each other for some reason, for having electricity.
Wow.
That's
I've always said this too, like these days we're doing like 50 different things. Back in like Archimedes' day, what did he do for 30 years? He stared at the sky. Right. He had a more focused mind, because we're all, oh, look, there's a kitty, there's a kitty.
Multitasking.
Well, there was a lot of wonderment, I think, and some people just wanted answers. And I think they just, somebody gets the thing, well, why does this happen? And why do these,
That's human nature. Right?
There haven't been dragons in thousands of years.
It's like there's so much to look at, even with your bare vision. There's so much to look at. I can see how.
That was one of my best things I used to do, is I would take walks at night in the summer and stargaze. And I know a little bit of astronomy. I would pick out, and it's just seeing the wonders of it. It's really great.
Yep.
But for you,
it'd be interesting to see a star like pop out or something. Or like,
well, when I was a kid, I was hoping for a UFO to land in the backyard and take me away.
Right.
They come
I
down
have
here.
That wish every day.
You know what? I always say that whole thing. A UFO lands. What's the first thing you see? I pick a different planet. Go away. But for you,
I'd like to give them some gifts. That's what I'd be like, a gift giver. It's like if somebody landed and said, if they could speak English, say, hey, what do you want? You want to try translator that you don't have on your planet?
Yeah. What if you give them like fudge brownies and they drop dead because they're allergic to them?
Yeah, like a dog. Be allergic to chocolate.
Like Greg, what would you give an alien if they popped down and said, "Hey, you're a drummer. Give us something." Would you be like the little drummer boy and I cannot play for you?
The other thing is when you
I would probably give him one of my cats.
You're going to start intergalactic war, huh? You're going to start intergalactic war.
No, I'd give him.
The cats are the ones that are running everything, along with the dogs.
I'd probably give him a bunch of TV shows and say, learn the language from this, because all those old movies we learned your language from radio and TV. But
give him like a 6-pack of like Jolt Cola or something.
Jolt Cola, that'd be funny.
We always
one thing I noticed isn't it amazing how many people have dogs and cats? Is it something that's a human thing or what? Everybody has pets.
Well, they're lucky because I always figure back way, way, way in the Stone Age, they managed to like sort of hook up with humans so they weren't used as food. Because they became companions and everything.
Yeah.
So they have use. That's why we don't eat them.
Yeah. I know the Chinese still eat white dogs. That's what I heard. It's
a cultural thing, though. That's how you came up.
And that's something that has been very much there have very much a lot of movement to stop that from being a thing, because it's not acceptable in other parts of the world, and it's just. But at the same time, when you really really think about it, why you can eat whatever you want.
It's sustenance.
Really.
It's sustenance.
It's just like when people,
it's
just like, oh, they had horse meat, and I'm like, yeah, but it's still meat. And then you have that, and I'm not throwing out one way or another.
One thing that I can't figure out is how do they how they discover roots like potatoes. You know, that they're edible. You know,
Well, I
it's
think
like,
they thought. I think Booker T. Washington. I could be wrong. George Washington Carver. I guess they thought tomatoes were poison till like some century.
Wow.
Yeah, there was, and you also consider like the vegetables, fruits and vegetables we most of us eat today are nothing like the fruits and vegetables were, before.
Yeah, they were a lot older because they came around BC.
Well, you know what I heard is like the tomatoes actually are poisonous. They're not good for your intestinal tract because they give you like a leaky gut syndrome. It happens with tomatoes and peanuts.
Yeah.
You know, if
I
you
gave
eat
up eating peanuts.
too many tomatoes,
I
it's not
saw
good
the
for you.
damn things have so much calories and everything. I just gave them up. I gave them up. But I think I think that's the thing about understanding, especially these days when we're all in our little groups. We never branch out. And I think, like, for example, one of my girlfriends, she grew up on a farm, so she would say, like, you say snap chickens' necks, do all that kind of stuff, where I'm like, I hate even to kill a fly these days. I'm like Mr. Animal Rights.
I don't judge anybody for, just like,
if they porked wildlife, that would I would.
I'm not going to be a hypocrite, but at the same time, I know I couldn't do that.
That's how I feel. I got friends that shoot deer, but they eat it.
Yeah, see, my thing is, I could never do it, but like friends who do the venison, okay, they're eating it. They're not like idiots going out there, let's just shoot it, be sickos. Yeah,
and I would crawl over working class to get like a whole thing of venison jerky because it is so good.
It is, and I admit, my friends did venison meatball and jerky, and it was so good.
Well, also,
I had caribou once. It was really, really good.
Yeah.
Somebody made like these caribou.
That Elton John album or the meat?
It was like, it tasted like plastic. No, it was like these caribou.
My dad ate an album once.
Pepperoni type things, and it was really cured right, but it was really, really tasty. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't judge. I mean, I do what you do. What you do. You do what you do. And
deer hunting also serves a purpose.
They should breed them like they do cattle. I mean, it'd be interesting to have like caribou instead of all cows. Probably better for you.
Like they're out in the wild.
This particular person was in Alaska in the Air Force or something, so that's how he got over.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, cool. But Del, in terms of UFOs, what would you say? And I never ask what's your all-time. I hate that question. What's like one of the big sightings, incidents you really would say, okay, if somebody doesn't believe, clear your mind and think about and research this one.
I got the answer for you if you want to hold on a second.
Sure.
Okay, then I'm going to tell you.
We're not a spaceship, Jeff.
I mentioned Richard Dolan, who's a Rochester resident. He's
I know his name. I've heard it a lot.
Yeah,
I'm a coach.
He wrote this book. He's got a lot of videos too. Richard Dolan's UFOs for the 21st Century. It has everything listed that has physical attachments to UFOs and stuff like that. I can't pick out one.
That's why I hate that question.
It's kind of cliche. I mean, there's like thousands of sightings. The military covered up a lot of stuff, but it's slowly coming out through Freedom of Information Act.
I was going to ask you about.
But if you get a chance, buy this book, UFOs for the 21st Century Mind.
We receive no residuals for it.
That's right.
Sorry about that.
It's all right. No, we don't mind as long as it doesn't sue us.
The stuff that's been released, that's coming out in the media lately. I
actually helped Rich out, by the way. I gave him some. I used to have newspaper clippings from the Democrat and Chronicle and Times Union from Rochester. They used to print UFO items back in the 70s and 60s. They don't do it today.
Well, Jimmy Carter saw one.
Yep.
Yeah, Jimmy Carter. Oh, this is a story that Rich Dolan told me personally. Jimmy Carter wanted to know more about UFOs after he had some UFOs that he wanted to find out about, and his military or whoever his advisors were told him some information, and there was an eyewitness that after he was given the information, he was sitting there crying his eyes out, like in his hands. So there must be something really heavy involved with that secrecy.
Oh, the pressure of dealing with this stuff too.
I gotta jump off, so I have to get going. But
all right.
There we
Take
go.
Care, Greg. Yeah. It's nice seeing you again.
Only because I have to go set up. I have a gig at Abilene today.
Yeah, and because he's got the heavy equipment.
That's right. That nobody wants to carry but me. Oh no, now here's a good example. Like you were asking me that question earlier, but like today I got a call from Danny. Danny said his sound guy had an issue. And I'm like, okay, so do I bring the PA or we're just gonna work with what he's got? And then the guy's gonna be there later, but we're gonna just have to set it up and figure it out, and that'll be that. But that's just one of those. So I wanted to get there.
It's good thing you got a backup PA. If you didn't have that backup, you'd be stuck without it.
Yeah. But it's good to see you, man. And
same here. Like I said, I wanted to do more, but just circumstance threw me off.
I'm still here,
and I'm going to put together my old group called the Idol Worshippers. We did one or two cassettes, and I'm going to put them back together, and hopefully, I could use your services if we do play live or something.
Sure, man. Yeah, I'd love to.
I'll let you know.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, they're just doing studio stuff right now with Dave Anderson at Saxon Recording.
Oh, good. You're still doing stuff. That's good.
Yeah.
That's
slowly,
cool. Right.
Real slow.
Cool. We'll see you on Sunday.
Ringo Starr.
Okay.
And everything.
Peace and love.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I love Ringo when he did the thing about not signing autographs anymore. It was almost like peace, love, fuck off.
It's a nicer way.
But I get
True,
that.
I remember
though,
that when he
because,
said that.
McCartney said
signing.
Ringo was one of these guys where he would he had that place, but then he didn't want to be bothered. And you got to understand how the popularity of these guys getting everywhere you go.
Yeah, people can't fathom that. Like, imagine walking anytime you go outside in public, every single person knows who you are, and
doing this show, it's happening.
Yes, more of they're recognizing just our faces from our voices, which is weird. But
I had the one that got me. We have a series of Dungeons and Dragons episodes, and we've done 2. The third one's on hiatus because of all the shit that happened, right?
Yeah,
so
I got stuff to talk to you about that.
I'm at the little. Right, I'm at the little theater, and somebody's looking at me, and I'm like, "Oh no, it's like Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm going to get slapped for something." And he goes, "It's like you're the guy who did the D&D podcast." And he didn't pour a drink on me or anything, which is cool.
Wow,
Yeah, I gotta see.
that's pretty cool.
But I hate that. See, I don't even like. One time I was doing 3500 the film festival. This woman asked us for our autographs, and I felt weird. I was going to sign to Tony Stark. But can you imagine, multiply that by anywhere you go, you're getting swamped.
I understand.
Oh, yeah.
The kids
But there was a time in the 70s, early 80s or something that Ringo Starr couldn't sell on record for nothing.
Yeah.
He had a hard time. In fact, one of his albums came from Canada that I bought, from Ringo because he couldn't sell it in the United States.
Well, that was the Beatles reunion we don't talk about. I think on his
yeah.
first album, they wanted to help him. So every Beatle plays on his first album, not together, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yep.
stuff
This is thing, yeah.
It's an amazing record. It's really good.
He's also had a really, really, kind of famous, alcohol problem.
Yeah.
Because he was he couldn't remember a lot of that time. So I think it probably reflected in the work and his attitude. And, it consumes your life, that kind of thing,
But I tell this story.
He got out of it,
Yeah.
Everybody, I think around the time after when he married Barbara Bach, they both had problems. They got out of it.
Yeah, I mean,
the whole thing with I noticed you talk a lot about alcohol and music and stuff like that. One thing
they
that
go
kind of
together,
bugs me,
yeah.
Huh?
Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. It's like a lot of this, the new country music stuff, they purposely put alcohol subliminal or talk about alcohol in the songs.
Maybe because it's country.
Sometimes it's done in jest, but
country's my liver rotted, my dog died, my pickup truck went out, and she left me.
Yeah, it's
all about that heartbreak mixed with drinking, which is good or bad depending on how you look at it.
It's a little Americana nonsense kind of that they put out that are like, oh, if you're a real American, you drink beer and watch football and do this. It's just it's not exactly, it's just it's.
Yeah, they try to sell that, try to make you part of that club,
Stereotypical.
I felt that way about smokers too. I would go to a lot of places and I didn't smoke, and then I just feel like I was left out because I didn't smoke cigarettes, With
I can tell you from working at bars, it would stick to my clothes some nights. It was sticking to my clothes.
Do you remember that? It's a wonder we didn't all get cancer, man. It used to stick to our clothes, your skin. You have to take a shower when you get home. It's just really
Yeah,
nasty.
I used to hang out at Vertex, and I had like if I had like a cloth winter coat or whatever, I wouldn't wear it. I would leave it in the car because I'm like, I won't get the smell out of it for a week. I'll just freeze
soak it up like a
in.
sponge.
Yeah, and it is, and it's something I never could abide. You know, just.
And I was an allergy person that always bothered me, and it stunk. Like, at least, like, when I worked at a restaurant, you would come home, your dog would love you because you smelled like food. You come home from the bar working, you smell like an ashtray.
Yeah, and once
it was nasty.
You get on it, it's.
I used to have to dump my grandfather's ashtrays when he had his old house in Soda. So I used to go over there with my parents and dump out these ashtrays, help them out. It's like, oh, all right, I'm out. I'll dump the ashtrays out.
But I have to tell that story I've told many times. My brother knew somebody. He met John Lennon. He had him sign one of his albums. He didn't look at it. He looked at it when he got home. He signed it Paul McCartney.
That's awesome.
And he said John was really pleasant.
John Lennon's handwriting, he
signed it. He signed it. So, could you imagine trying to get that certified?
Cool.
It's like, hey.
Yeah, that's
it's kind of cool thing to have, having John put Paul's writing in
I never saw it. I just heard the story, and I wonder, like, if he probably signed it in his writing. I don't think.
Probably a few cases where he's done that, pissed off a couple fans.
But it sounded overall like Harrison was the nicest. There's a story I like from one book where it said there was this young lady on break from college, and she was hitchhiking going across England, and she was waiting for a bus outside these hedges. This weird guy comes out of the bush, and he's like talking to her, saying, "When's your bus gonna come?" It's like, well, a couple hours. I missed the other one. He had her in for tea and stuff. It was Harrison. That was his estate.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
And he sounds like overall, I ended up over the years, I noticed a lot of the younger people I know their favorites are Harrison now, and I've really grown to like him. He was like sort of a Renaissance man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the Traveling Wilburys really gave him a second life.
Yeah.
That and this solo album that he released.
Oh, yeah. Cloud 9.
Yeah, Cloud 9.
That was I had that album. I remember really really liking that album back when it was out. Of course, he had that song that the earworm.
They kind of overkilled
3 words.
Yeah. The Rudy Clark song, they kind of overkilled that one, but it's all right.
But imagine him in the Power, though. Life of Brian was made because George Redsky wanted to see it. Imagine if you did that. Well, I read this. I want to make it. Make the movie. I'll give you the money.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I mean.
He was involved with all the Monty Python stuff. To some degree. I didn't know he was involved with some stuff that he put out. Yellow Beard, whatever.
He helped finance Holy Grail. He was really tight with Eric Idle. They were super close. They're both musicians.
The Ruddles. Part of the Ruddles.
Ruddles is a funny movie. It's crazy. But,
it's a cult classic, definitely.
It is.
I was privileged, actually. Did you ever meet Neil Innes when he came to town?
I just missed him. I was going to see him. I couldn't see him.
He signed my Holy Grail copy. I think he was having problems with Eric Idle, though, because I was talking about spam a lot, and he sort of changed the subject. And I love doing that with people you meet when you do that. You bring up just the wrong thing.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I just...
Yeah, it's a sore spot, and they get all upset over it. They won't show it, but they...
You could tell, though, he's sort of like, he said he had nothing to do with it, and... Eric's doing his own thing, and he was really nice. I had him sign a Bonzo Doodah Dog CD and the Grail.
Do you have anything by the group called Grimm's, I think they were called? It was like Paul McCartney's brother and one of the guys from Python or something. I don't know.
I have the Firemen. I don't have that, though.
It's like early, probably from the 70s. It was Grimm's.
Oh, that's a cool one.
Like a couple, not Monty Python. Well, probably, like Neil Innes and Mike McGear, Paul McCartney's brother with a different name.
Oh, that's cool. I think Paul McCartney's real name, too, is James Paul McCartney. I'm pretty sure.
That's why he named his son's name James McCartney. Do you know he came to Rochester and didn't even sell out the show?
Wow.
James McCartney.
Oh.
He was at the Lovin' Cup, I think it was.
Now that you mention it, I remember it. Yeah, I remember them announcing it. I've seen some good
Yeah,
stuff there.
it wasn't advertised very heavily, but I guess it didn't sell out. It was just kind of an average crowd that went there.
Yeah, sometimes it's weird like that, like how that goes. You know?
Yeah.
You know, like I saw Ricky Ramone there, and it wasn't that. Everybody who went there loved it, but it wasn't a big crowd.
Yeah. Yeah, they think, oh, it's not the full Ramones. You know, I'm not going to see it. But, you know, they're probably like the best ones to see.
Oh, he was.
I actually knew a guy named knew a guy named Julio Ramone who was not on, maybe like on one song on one of their records, and he did like live stuff with them, but he's not credited anywhere. You know, I saw him do like Ramones and stuff like that out in Ohio where he lives.
Hey, man, see whoever you
But
can
I couldn't
now.
find anything
Yeah.
else about him. He's like the Spanish Ramon, Julio Ramon.
Yeah.
Now, and it doesn't mean you don't like the other ones. Who is your 60s band? Is it the Kinks? Or is it the Beatles? Or the
I like the
Stones?
Kinks a lot.
I love
mean,
the Kinks.
That's of late. I just, you know, I adore them so much. They're just great. And they're like a band that never put out that many good bad songs. You know, like I said, all their songs are pretty good. You know, there's
I
no
think
clunkers.
To me, with Ray,
Even soap opera, like their worst album, Soap Opera, has some good songs on it. Isn't that great? It's got like Ducks on the Wall. It's a song that Mike Murray's band used to do. And
the other thing too about that,
9 to 5,
I think Ray
really
tells stories. Every song's like a story, and they're quintessentially an English band too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they talk a lot about England's stuff. It's based on a lot of the English, you know, laws and things like that.
Yeah, and I just think they were probably a little too out there, and they didn't really care about being commercial enough to. And they got banned here for whatever years too. It was back in the day, like now you wait for 6 years to get maybe one album. Now it's like 2 a year.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
I like
what's an album
Dave
anymore?
Davies. He put on a good live album. If you got the one from Record Store Day, he had like a double live stuff. He did like his own solo material as well as some of the Kink stuff. It sounds great.
One of my
surprised.
best shows of this century was Ray Davies at the 12th. He even balanced the Guinness on his head. It was one of I would say it's in my top 5 for shows during the 21st century. You know, when he balanced the Guinness on the top of his head. He only played and he played a lot of old stuff too. He started with Victoria, and he was all over.
Wow.
It was just
It's
great.
cool.
You know,
I heard it one time they could drink everybody under the table though. They'll go out to a restaurant after the performance and like Greg Prevost can tell you from Christopher.
Prevost told me. Now what I heard, I went with Dave Aquesta. We saw them play at U of R. It was UK Jive. I heard that Ray wasn't any fun at the time because he was on the wagon, but their bass player at the time, they had coolers of Coronas on stage.
That's just for their to keep them cooled off. It's nothing.
It was hot. Ray complained that night. He said, "I love being there, but that was hot." That was actually a monumental night for me, music wise, because that was when Jazzberries had its first show on East, and I went to go see the Essentials. That's when I met Greg.
Yep.
Yeah, it was the same night. We went over after the Kinks and went to see them. And I guess I actually met a couple of years ago Michaela, Katie Preston, all of them. They did a thing for their music school at the Bop Shop. The owner of Jazzberries came in, and she clarified the story for me. It was the first show they had on East Avenue.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Do you know if the Ferrets came before is that the first band with Greg Townsend, or was it after?
I thought it was Essentials, Salamanders. I'd have to ask him.
I think the Ferrets were kind of like, at the same time.
Because that's when I met them. I think it was spring 1990 I met them.
I was at the show too. I saw the Ferrets.
So that was who played with them, the Ferrets. That's been a miss.
I played with both bands.
Because I thought the Skeletons played that show, but actually, like, Mark Bradley told me, it's like he doesn't remember and I don't remember. It's like, I thought it was the Skeletons who would, like,
They played one of the shows. I remember the Skeletons. They were also known as the Morels and some other name. They had like 3 different names.
I love Shake and Pull.
Basically the same guys.
Yeah, Todd Bradley actually did some other guy or her kind of guy at Dinosaur like a while back. He's like, Rob, you know Shake and Pull, right? Yep. I was like, yeah, I know him. That's why we're all like
Todd Bradley's got like a
Bossa Nova band. It's great.
Wow,
I love
got them into that.
I think he just liked Bossa Nova music and he decided we didn't have any around here.
Yeah, that's true.
That's not a bad tack to take, you know. Do something nobody else
Something
is
they
doing
could,
around.
you know,
Yeah.
You know, and I
find
think
their niche
the
in
average
that.
reaction people have who goes, we go down there, we go, the first time you see him, it's like, what the heck is he doing? Then after you get into it, you go, wow, this is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, that's what you pick up on, you know. That's how I got into like a little bit of jazz stuff from watching NRBQ. They were big into like Thelonious Monk.
Yeah.
And I've listened to some Thelonious Monk and I'm just blown away. Some of this stuff is really
That's
amazing.
what I think happens to us. I always call it like gateway drugs in a good way. Like you get Nick Lowe's album, it takes you because it's poppy enough, but it's alternative enough. Then there was always Friends. You go, hey, man, you know, I still do it these days, even with everything out there. Hey, what are you listening to? Hey, check this out. And you go to something else. And as long as you're open-minded and realize, like, remember in high school, a lot of times they had, like, you had to be a metalhead, you had to like goth, you had to like this.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And you could be like, you would be in huge trouble if, like,
people and the Scorgies people.
Could you imagine, like Metallica fan trying to go up to you and go, oh, wow, I love that new jazz album. If he was found out, he would be ostracized, you know?
I still say.
Oh, I know. You wouldn't fit in that group, I guess.
Every serious metalhead I was friends with back in the day, and I've said this before, was really into They Might Be Giants. I don't know where the crossover was. They Might Be Giants.
Oh, They Might Be Giants, yeah.
They were always also into They Might Be Giants, and I was just like, I don't know if there was a crossover or it just happened to be the people I knew.
Yeah, I mean, how do they pick up on that? It's like if they like the B-52s or
well,
something.
a lot of metalheads like Neil Diamond, I found out for some reason. That was just my experience. I don't know why.
Huh. That's
I don't know. Neil Diamond.
Well, just like people that I have a closet, you know, they like the Carpenters. Like anytime they hear their Carpenters, they just, you know, love it, but they don't tell anyone. It's kind of like a secret thing. Like if you like Gene Pitney or something like that. I know I used to get mocked out for liking Gene Pitney.
That's the nice thing about the nice thing about getting old is that
you don't care.
You don't have to give a shit about what you like. You know,
exactly.
I go back and like.
It took me a long time to realize that.
That's why
they used to call me name like in high school. I had that alternative taste in a Catholic suburban school where it was all Journey, you know, Foreigner, REO, you know, and it's like all these bands. They just did. You were. Should have left out, which whoop-de freaking do. But I got outed one time because, you know, you want to be like, oh, I don't like school, screw all this. One of my friends, his mother, who's a teacher, she would catch me at the library and he'd tell her son, he'd say, oh, I saw you, my mom saw you. You had like a big stack of books you were taking out. I'm like, no, I'm dumb. I'm dumb.
They weren't my books. I was picking them up for somebody else. I was holding on to somebody else's books.
I mean, it's a sad statement.
It's a sad college was on level. I had to level it up.
And I always thought, okay, you can hate school. Like as a nonconformist, I didn't like a lot of it. I didn't really like a lot of things. But you can like learning and education, though, not to be a dummy. You know?
Yeah, I mean, you can be that smart without going to school in an academic sense. It's like there's a big divide between the academic people and the people that are truly intelligent.
Oh, I found that out in college, believe me.
Yeah, you can shove a lot of information in your brain for the short term and not learn a friggin' thing. You know, that's how...
Yeah, it's like a lot of times the education goes with the ego. Like whatever makes them better than someone else, intelligence-wise. That's mistakenly taken for intelligence, which is not right.
And I think there's different kinds of intelligence, too. We're more intuitive. We're more like, you know, some people are like the old stereotype of the professor who could probably, you know, graph negative numbers, but can't start his car.
Right. It's like common sense poor. You know, they have
that is a frequent thing.
Their common sense. They lack common sense.
The more in your head you are, the less outside of everything else. It's the difference between intelligence and wisdom. You can bring everything back to Dungeons and Dragons if you really try. Intelligence, wisdom, charisma.
Critical dragons.
Thinking.
And a hot queen.
It's one thing that people that are religious, they lack a little bit of critical thinking.
How do you think more, it's like, here's a sort of deep question. I guess, how would you put in religion with UFOs and stuff? Like, suppose the Martians, I'm just going to say Martians, I mean, you know, whatever, the whatever's from planet whatever in some other galaxy landed. What would that do to people who thought, okay, is there a God now? I thought we were the only people created by him.
Well, one thing that I always remember from, because I used to be brought up Catholic too myself, is the miracle of Fatima, when they had that big sighting in early 1900s, and they gave the Pope a message to reveal in so many years later. That was a UFO thing, big time, because in fact the message that was supposed to be revealed like 10 years ago and never got revealed, that was given to them.
I was hoping it was like, how many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll Center?
Yeah,
solve a lot, But one of the things I was thinking of, you both have acted, and in a way, I've always thought like I've been banging my head against the wall. I want to get some drag queens on here. I knew every drag queen in my day. Now I don't know many, but you find when they're not drag queens, they are super shy. And it's almost like a superhero thing where like you're mild mannered and you could go out and do anything you want. Yeah. Like in terms of acting in a way, because I think we're all pretty, if we don't know each other, we're all pretty shy, and I'm weird. I don't know, but doesn't it's like being somebody else and being able to do things you would never do in real life. Except I would never do the Ned Beatty thing in Deliverance ever.
My brother is into drag queens and stuff. He's, I could maybe find out if he's got anyone he knows. If you want to have him,
I used to know so many of them. I just never knew. I mean, they're all back like. Yeah.
You remember they used to hang out at one of the bars.
Yeah, I drank over martinis one night with Kasha Davis. We talked about cats and dogs after the one play after Closer that one night. That was a good. MJ was even going. She's like, no, I can't. No, not for a while. But how is it that thing that appeals to you to get into acting though? It's like, hey, I can do all these people, be creative. That's something I would never do in real life.
That's a big hook. That's definitely a big hook. I mean, it's not always like doing a character, but a lot of it is doing something that's your creation,
So it's the same thing?
I think one thing I was kind of blessed with is like having some sort of acting ability, which I'm still trying to make money doing somehow. Because I have kind of a rubbery face where I could change it into someone else just by making a gesture.
I appreciate you support local, because I remember one of our movies you came to when we were playing at the Eastman.
Right.
Getting personal.
So you're still making movies?
No, this is my friend Beth Bailey. It got to the point where, you're a musician, you get the equipment, you got stuff, trying to raise money, when you're not making any money. And after a point, you feel really bad. And you got to say, shout out to Rochester. We support the arts.
Absolutely.
Not as well as like a small southern town. Yeah. But
even if you do like a very basic thing, like I work with a guy named Rich Gagne, who goes as Frank Stam. I shouldn't tell him that, but his name is Frank Stam. He's on a lot of videos that we did together, and we're able to do it for a real cut rate price. I mean, it's just real small type stuff. But sometimes it works better that way. We did. We used last time we didn't do it, but then the next time we started going around, it just got to the point where it's like couldn't do it. You gotta have big people backing you up, like producer. That's where it helps to live in California.
It's like you get the telegram. By the way, the aunt you never heard of left you $20 million in an island.
there are other places like you got to look at all other places where you can go. Like any bigger city.
What about other countries?
Even in other countries,
like Canada. I mean, there's places.
Not right now with Canada until for a little while.
Yeah, you can't go to Canada. I mean, when it opens up again, because there's a lot of movies that are made in Canada, just above. Rochester.
The Canadian National Film Board is a big thing.
But do you have like any a top 10? Like if you wanted to play a certain character, is there some you'd like to still play, or like you like with Shakespeare or something, some kind of a one you'd still like to play? Geez. I know I hate these.
I'd like to do a Western. I'd like to really do a Western as a serious character, like some sort of Western.
Like something like an Unforgiven or something where it was like not all John Wayne and Save the Day and this sucks.
Because all I've done is comedy. Everything's comedy based. I'd like to do one serious one. Just before I kick the bucket, it'd be nice to do a Western.
He wore a blazing saddle.
You can think of a song. Rawhide.
as far as stage stuff goes, there's not like I've really been. The more I'm getting into podcasting and this other kind of stuff, I'm really that's kind of becoming more where I'm focused. Right
How
now.
much have you done? Mostly stand up, or have you done mostly
Oh no, I've never
theater
done stand
or
up.
both?
I've never
You
done
sat down
stand-up.
during your. I've seen you standing up every
Yes,
show.
I do. Yes, I stand up or sit down. One show I got to sit down for most of the time, and it was great. No, yeah, I do. I pretty much stage some films, some like student films. Nothing really.
That's cool.
I made a couple of short movies. That was my big thing for a little while. I was really into that, but it's like anything else. It just
Life happens. Life happens.
Life happens.
I look back at the stuff now, and mostly I just hate it because it's just that there was stuff was either overwritten or underwritten, and I wrote it.
That's how I felt about my comedy show that I did for Webster. We did a show out in Webster cable, and I liked everybody I worked with. They're nice to work with, but only one or two of the people that I worked with took it seriously. The rest are kind of like half into it.
And I think once you get into it, because like when I started doing this thing, I cringe at the first shows pretty much because they weren't exactly, I tried to get away from, I didn't want to do any of these shows where it's all about you. It's just all about the topic, letting people talk, having a good time. Yeah. But when you start off, I used to take these massive notes and then I couldn't even read them.
Oh yeah. No,
now I don't even take notes or whatever. It's like, who the hell was coming on today?
It's better to do free form. I just throw everything away and do free. It works.
That's why I have some friends who are really shy about doing it. Now they're addicts. They want to do it all the time because you come on. It's like we're having a conversation. We're having fun.
Yeah, you just have to break the seal. You do it the first time.
We try to avoid. We don't censor our guests. We try to avoid politics. Who wants to talk about that crap?
That's true.
It doesn't. You don't want to.
You should get my friend Mark Elliott from the show that I did last. He's kind of like a comedian too. But he's very smart.
We're open, especially because we have so many musicians to divide, do a little diversity. Yeah. But that's all.
Yeah, you'll know when you're recognizing or seeing.
See, I know we know all the same people, so sometimes I get the name wrong. But what you have now? You want to go? I know you want all the best with your health. We're all like in the same to one extent or the other. Yeah. But what do you want to be doing in the future in terms of the stuff, like for your creative side? And if you get abducted, can you take me with you? It's a cook. I'll see them take you away though, and it's like, Rob, it's a cookbook.
It's a cookbook.
I'll be going. This is not healthy.
Scene. I still love that scene. Yeah. I still love it.
Twilight Zone might be. I'm never again. I don't do absolutes like that, but Twilight Zone's up there in the top. I'm going to try to get Ann Serling on here. I sort of know her to do a thing about it.
It's one of those things where everything's perfect about it. The script, the black and white film-like atmosphere,
everything was
intros, everything about it's perfect.
And I think too they could sneak by the censors because it was a fantasy which dealt with like a lot of like racism, hatred, but they were doing it in this way, like the monsters they do on Maple Street. It wasn't really about. It was like, well, they could kill us because they just make us all hate each other. Never happened now.
Yeah. Because there was a little bit more ignorance towards UFOs that people didn't know, that a lot of them are government crafts and stuff like that. It's just, everything's different now.
Oh, there's actually a funny novel. It's not insulting if you believe it, called Little Green Men by Christopher Buckley. And what it is the government's flying around UFOs to perpetuate it, to cover up for the stuff they found. It's a funny novel. It'd be a good movie. But what's coming up for you?
I just lost you. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can hear you.
What's we're winding it down though.
I'm missing
But what's coming up for you think? You want to get back into stuff when this crap ends? It might end.
The two things that I'm trying to concentrate on, getting past my illness with my feet and stuff was like a big thing that's holding me back a little bit. But probably to do with a band thing that I'm working with Dave Anderson at Saxon Recording, Jargon Records. Get that going. I actually have an unfinished project with Brett Loudon, who's doing stuff with Joe Meek material.
Is he related to Lisa Loudon? Is he related to Lisa Loudon?
I don't think so.
Okay, because
Brett Loudon
coming on the show soon.
His brother played with the Insiders, or Inside Out, I guess.
Yeah.
Steve Loudon. Just Steve Loudon. Lisa Loudon, yeah.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
That's Steve Loudon's,
she's coming on.
his brother's wife.
She's coming on actually to play live on the show. So that's another one.
She is great. Yep.
My dad loved her. She played that Unity.
The ones that she created with Steve, the stuff that they wrote together.
She gave me the album.
Best stuff I ever heard.
I botched her name, Commentucci Loden. I killed that name so bad. I just killed that name.
Like their Italian name, you know.
No, it's one of those we have like we're gonna have Mona Sigatolis, and I'm gonna go, hi, it's Mona from XXI, or that's why you go, guest, introduce yourself.
Yes.
That's the fun of this, though. We don't care. We have like Greg's phone will go off during the show. We're chasing cats around. You know, if we figure, you know, it's not.
Chairs. Oh, you know, it's really off the.
I have a habit of like insulting people by accident. In fact, I remember I just did that with somebody.
Oh, you want to hear one?
But
I had a friend of mine in college, and she didn't mean it, but she would do this. And like one of my friends lost weight, and she saw her, so she goes, "Wow, listen, if I ever let myself go as much as you, I can never lose it." But you ever get that person who honestly doesn't mean to be mean? They just don't know what the hell they're talking about.
They just they just said it the wrong way, or just came out the way. Yeah. I've done that several times in my life, and I've gotten in trouble a lot.
You know, these days, and I admit, I don't ever want to be cruel to people, and I'm beyond being the dick I was when I was younger. And I think it's petty to be mean or talk down to people. But these days, you don't know what somebody's going to infer what you said, which you're totally innocent and you didn't even know.
And that's true. But there's also the opposite of that too.
By all means.
A lot of things. There's a feeling now that a lot of people can legitimately say, look, I've been bothered by this thing, and now I'm going to let you know. But like, okay, I'm a overweight person. I'm an obese person. When you get those friends who are like, I'm just concerned about your health. You know, you look so much better when you like this stuff like that, and it gets on you. Just like
and I'll say myself, I
get that all the time.
I have some health issues. I've had like some health issues this year. I have some. We all have them. I've dropped like 90 pounds in 30 months. I lost weight. I gained doing what I did. Now this is me, okay? I'm doing this. I'm telling you, live your life the way you want to live it. We all have different, you assholes who can weigh whatever and not have health problems. Ugh. But you know what I mean. But but it's like this is my life. This is for me. I'm not judging you. Just like I'm pretty much a vegetarian. I'll eat whatever the hell you want for you. Listen to what you want. Live your life.
In my case, I did it for the character. Like the characters I played on the comedy show were overweight, a little bit obese, dopey. Kind of.
Yeah.
Well, did you do one called The Whale where you did like?
Yes, I did.
Did you ever see this one? He did one called The Whale.
There's actually
is it a play or what?
It's a play. Yeah, it's actually a film that's being made right now that's based on that play. It's about a 600-pound man who's basically eating himself to death.
Oh my God! My next door neighbor.
It's rough.
Like that.
You really empathize with the character by the end because he's got everybody else telling him what he needs, but he reflects everybody's,
and it's addiction.
See,
addiction is always like, I've had friends who've had really bad problems, and I try to like tiptoe, but they'll say, well, you do this, you gotta want to get, and people don't, like one of my friends, she got addicted to Big Macs, and she told me she couldn't, people if it's not happening to you, you laugh at it, because you think it's stupid. No, it's not.
You can get addicted to anything,
Right. I got addicted to a character on Game of Thrones. So.
Yes, he's still not really seeking help for it, but he's mentioning it.
I just wish it could be the opposite, where you could be addicted to something that's actually good for you to do.
I think I have an addictive personality. I have a weird personality where I think it's addictive or ADD. Where once my exercise. Yeah, now once I start these crazy exercise routines, I got to do them. I'll be pacing around the house when it's time to go. So it's like a habit.
Because
once you get the habit,
it's
good eating too. Once you stop doing that kind of eating and you start doing the healthy, it becomes a habit.
Yeah. And I was there.
Right.
I was there for a while.
It's true. It can become a habit, I guess.
But be more understanding these days. Don't freaking judge people. You don't freaking know.
It's just like the way
Even
The way
shitty music people like the guy who blasts that crap next door to me.
The way I like to think about, and there's, and like anything,
I am a snob with music. I got to admit it bothers me, but each his own. Go on, Patrick.
There's a spectrum, like it's a little political correctness thing. There's a spectrum to everything. There's overdoing something and underdoing something. But I think the best way to make peace with that is to, I've changed the words from political correctness to respectfulness.
That's the better words.
I think it's a better word when you think of it that way.
And it sounds asinine, doesn't it? Political correctness.
And
like
you
what?
make a big. Well, that's the thing.
It's like if all men were angels, you know, it'd be like that. But unfortunately, not everybody's an angel.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, and I think that, and I do think that there's, some unfair expectations put on people, but I also think that we like to lump everything in one basket. We throw it all in one basket.
Yeah, go back, Del. Go back some decades. What we were supposed to do, we were supposed to go get the job, have the 2.5 kids, get the house in the burbs. Yeah. Some of us didn't like that. Yeah. Some of us didn't want to do that. Like, I tell my dad, dad actually came up to me and, we had, he worked at Kodak his whole life. And he came up when I worked there, during the summers. And he was and my friend Rob, his dad's a plumber. He took us out one time during winter. And you go with the workers. So we get up at 4 a.m, go to Victor. We're freezing. I remember Rob trying to get a sandwich. His hands are shaking. Yeah. His dad's wearing a wife beater, not cold at all. After 2 weeks, he's like, okay, I want you to be honest with me. Do you like it? And we're like, Frank. No. And I told my dad, and then he said, good, then you make sure you go your own way. And my dad said the same thing. Relatives would say, well, when are you going to start working at Kodak? And my dad would go, that's not for him.
Yeah.
Right. Just not his thing.
And history has shown.
I had my time at Kodak.
Well, I would have been laid off by now.
Yeah. That's what happened to me. I actually quit Kodak and then went back as a temp.
Yeah.
Kodak. So I love doing all kinds. I'm always one of those kind of people. I worked at Target over the holidays one time because when I want to talk about something, I like to say, well, I know what it's like. Not just judging people.
Yeah, I was subcontracted.
I worked at bars. I've done.
Yeah, I was subcontractor to Kodak at a call center, and even tangentially at the time, when you go into the, it's like really to see how incredibly boxed off every division of it was, and out of touch.
Oh, I'm not going to... The statute of limitations. This was back in the 80s. One department... Now, this was out of some stupid movie. One department, the guy... He would try to sabotage... Because I guess he was in this department and something happened. So it was children.
Yeah.
Yep.
But this has been... These go on. We could go on for 3 hours, but I think I probably got to go to the bathroom. Would you like to come back sometime? Maybe even come down to the studio.
Yeah, if we could go into another tangent if you want to get to other stuff.
That's the show. You think we actually have a plan when we go on here?
Alrighty, well let's do.
I call everything stuff because it's you just take this stuff and put it with
I've gotten tired of people. I've gotten tired of guests coming on going, well, what are you talking about? It's well, we'll see, won't we?
People will.
Yeah, I know. That's why I probably, when I'd like to come back on is when I get something finished.
Okay, when you know how to get a hold of me.
Either a video or a audio project or something done, then I can plug it and then talk.
All right,
cool.
If you don't mind,
that's what we're here for. That's what we're here for.
I like to plug. Just
go ahead.
Got the CD.
Plug away.
Just you get this at. Mostly at Bob's shop.
All right. Well, this is
they're kind of like the main distributor.
Say the name of it. Because we have we're not
on video.
Del Rivers.
That's why we can show Greg's face.
Key Dreamers Bright Colors.
All right.
It's basically live at the Bob shop, but I call it Bright Colors.
Del Rivers and the Key Dreamers Bright Colors.
And go up to Tom or whoever's working there and say, hey, we want Del Rivers and the Key Dreamers Bright Colors.
And when I eventually get file from Greg, what song do you think we should play? What song do you want? What song would you?
How would you like to? Would you like to sing it right now? Cool. Wink.
All right.
Everybody refuses.
If I had a guitar with me or something, I could do it, but I can't.
I will. Great having you on, man. Hope you're doing all the best to your health and everything else. We have to look for the future because where else are we going? We have to look for the future.
I want to be able to sing a song. Eventually I want to be able to do that off the top of my head, but I just pop goes the weasel and stuff like that.
Next time, stay tuned for Dale singing songs off the top of his head.
That's a promise. That's a carnival promise.
I actually have a song, a heavy metal song that I didn't finish writing yet. It's in my head. It's called Sperm Bank.
I can picture these dudes with mullets from the 80s with all the women dressed like with chains or something.
All right.
That's what I'm working on in the back of my head, at least.
All right. Well, that's it. Next time.
Next time, man. So thanks a lot, man. And I'll be in touch. And
yeah.
Very cool. Thanks for
coming
coming
on.
on.
Glad to see you guys, too. I haven't seen you in a long time.
We were worried about you for a little while. I haven't seen anybody in a long. We were worried that you got like something happened to you for a little bit when we started out. But
I wouldn't doubt it. I never go out. I don't have any money. I'm broke. Basically, I don't have any money to go out with.
Oh shit! What are you gonna do when I send you the bill for being on here?
Ooh, okay.
wink, wink. Thanks a lot, man.
Yeah.
Okay, the next song we're doing is a song I did with a girl that used to date Darren up here, Susan Steckloff. She was also on WAYO on Wednesday nights and at Jente Schmintes show.
Wait a minute. I used to date her too.
You dated her once.
What?
Anyway, we're going to try to do a song with the band, and it's called She Walks Like a Robot. Look at that girl.
Look at that girl.
She walks like a robot.
Walks like a robot.
Look at that girl.
Look at that girl.
She talks like a robot.
Talks like a robot.
Moving like she's been out nuts and bolts. Her face is really steely and she talks in monotone. Whoa, whoa. Hey, look at that girl.
Look at that girl.
She walks like a robot.
Walks like a robot.
Look at that girl.
Look at that girl.
She talks like a robot.
Talks like a robot.
I don't think you should try to dance with her. She'll knock you right down. She's got a lot of nerve. I don't think you dare to ask her out. Computer case don't know how to speak or shout. Hey. Girl,
Look at that girl.
she looks like a robot.
Walks like a robot.
Look at that girl.
Look at that girl.
She talks like a robot.
Walks like a robot.
She got a square head and she's got square heels. Don't push your buttons 'cause she's bound to squeal. She has no feelings, no heart and no veins. All wired up inside with computerized brains. Hey, that girl.
Look at that girl.
She walks like a robot.
Walks like a robot.
Look at that girl.
Well, look at that girl.
She talks like a robot.
Walks like a robot.
And the gals their refrigerator. For middle name ought to be Calvinator. I don't think she tried to dance with her. She'll knock you right down. She's got a lot of nerve. One more time. Look at that girl.
Look at that girl.
She walks like a robot.
Walks like a robot.
Look at that girl.
Look at that girl.
She talks like a robot.
Walks like a robot.
There we go. Look at her walk. She's walking now like a robot. Look at her walk. She's a robot. Thank you very much. I feel feels good to breathe new life into songs that are 20 years old. This song is relatively recent. It's on my